Welcome, friends. It's a little noisy in my house today, so I thought we'd step out on the back porch. I want to talk to you about the channel and some things that are going on or not going on with the channel. So, when I started the channel back in 2022, I did it as a way to share a couple of hobbies that I really enjoy. There aren't a whole lot of people in my day-to-day life who enjoy growing and preserving food as much as I do. So I had to go find you. And I did. I found you on YouTube, and it has been so much fun to connect with so many of you, and many of you beyond the channel through emails. And I get pictures of projects you're doing, and I get questions, and we share recipes, and I've loved that. It has been exactly what I wanted it to be on that front. However, YouTube, I didn't think of YouTube itself as a hobby. I sure didn't think of it as a business. However, YouTube really insists, and they do all of this silently, just kind of some some manipulation on their part with how they run their business that really seems to kind of tell you how you need to be running yours. And they want it to be a business. They want it to be a full-time business. And the unspoken rule is that you post at least once a week, or you're going to get punished, basically. And I know that sounds crazy. I mean, it's an algorithm that we deal with that runs this, and it's an algorithm that is designed to make YouTube as much money as possible, which is exactly what the algorithm should do for YouTube, right? I have no problem with YouTube running itself in the best way it can to grow its business, to make money for its shareholders. I have no problem with that at all. I take no issue with that. You get to use YouTube for free. We pay for it through revenue sharing. We pay a significant amount for it through revenue sharing, and that's fine because I didn't create the platform. I couldn't create the platform. If it weren't for YouTube, there would be no Grow and Preserve. So I understand all of that. I take no issue with it. But what is difficult as a creator is understanding that you work for an algorithm, and if you can't keep that algorithm happy, then you may as well close up shop, right? So that's kind of the position I'm in right now. Back in 2024, at some point, there was a big change in the algorithm. I know a lot of folks just kind of dropped like flies there who'd been around longer and probably seen this before. I had never seen this before, and I'm sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, what have I done? How did I make YouTube angry? I don't know. I didn't. I don't know. It was kind of shocking to me, and that's when you suddenly look around and you're like, well, there's no one I can talk to. There's no one I can ask what I did wrong, because of course you assume you did something wrong when the algorithm turns against you. And I'm going to put up a chart, and it's just a representative chart. I could have picked any time period. I chose to pick, this particular time period, and then do that same time period going back a couple of years. So let's take a look at this chart. This is my copy of the chart I'm going to put up on the screen now. And this is actually 3 separate screenshots. So there's a top, a middle, and a bottom. And I just put them all together on one chart so you can compare. I'm a visual person, and I think that this really shows what I'm talking to you about really well. So let's look at the yellow circles. So the top one, the dates on that chart are October 16th through November 16th, 2023. So what I did is I pulled this on November 16th a couple of days ago, and so I just did the same time period looking back over the years. So top one is 2023, the middle one is 2024, same time period, October 16th through November 16th, and the bottom one is the 2025, same time period, October 16th through November 16th. So I wanted to be comparing apples to apples to apples across the years, and you can see kind of what I'm seeing. So if we go back to 2023, although it's not on this chart, I hit about 18,000 subscribers during the time period of this chart. In 2024, same time period, I had about 32,000 subscribers. 2025, I have about 40,000 subscribers during this time period. So I guess I assumed that as the channel grew, the channel would do better, right? But no. In fact, it seems to be. I mean, just based on this chart, and there, the channel is doing far worse than it did when I had 18,000 subscribers, and I don't know. It's I don't know. I can't honestly explain that, except that as I said, the algorithm, it's YouTube's algorithm designed to do the best it can for YouTube. So that tells me that that is what their algorithm is doing. Unfortunately for me, I get kind of, it doesn't do the best it can for me, which is fine. That's not their job. It's my job. So I've spent the last year trying to figure out some of these things I'm going to tell you about in a minute. And I don't know that there is any real explanation, and I don't know that there is actually anything I can do about it. So let's talk about impressions. I'll give you YouTube's definition of impressions. We're talking about what's in the red squares or rectangles at the moment. So impressions, their definition is how many times your video thumbnails were shown to viewers. So whether it's on somebody's homepage, on an up next, on a recommended, or whatever, anytime my thumbnail shows up on somebody's screen, right? So back in 2023, during this time period, YouTube put me out there, and it could be any of my videos, 2.5 million times, 2.5 million impressions during that 30-day, 31-day time period, whatever that is, 2.5 million, okay? I had 18,000 subscribers. That was great. 2024, they cut that number in half, and I'm down to 1.3 million impressions. I was up to 32,000 subscribers, but they cut the impressions in half. 2025, they cut those impressions in half again. 667,000 impressions, and I have 40,000 subscribers. In fact, I just got a, woohoo, congratulations from them the other day. At 40,000 subscribers, you are larger than 94%, I think, of all YouTube channels. I'm like, wow, okay, that's kind of, I don't know. Anyway, it is what it is. But so the better my channel seems to do in terms of building subscribers, the worse it seems to do in terms of YouTube putting it out there. And so if we go over to the numbers that are underlined in green, so far left of the chart, we see that at 166,000 views during that time period in 2023, only 98,000 during that same time period in 2024, and 54,000 during the same time period in 2025. Well, it's the views. This is the number that advertisers pay based on the number of views. So you can see what's happened. And it has made, unfortunately, it has made the channel really, really non-viable at this point. It's gotten to the point where it really doesn't make any sense for me to continue to spend 35, 40 hours of each and every week to put out a video to go nowhere. So this kind of hit me in the face about a year ago. It was like November, I think it was November of last year. And so I tried to wait it out. I'm watching these numbers go down every single month. So this spring, when I took a break, I had a lot of personal stuff going on, a lot of things I needed to do. But my numbers, my impressions at the time were 700,000, and I thought, well, okay, there's really nothing to lose. It had just been going down and down and down steadily, and you see, they're like, well, we can still take more away from you. So I think it's important for you to know that this is the current environment for my channel. And based on that, even though I have a list here, I have a page and a half, a little over a page and a half of other videos that I want to make. And I just kind of work my way through this list, and when new ideas come to mind, I, add them to the list. And so I have a page and a half that I would really like to make. But, honestly, in this environment, it just doesn't make any sense for me to spend my time when I could be doing other hobbies. I could be with my husband, with my kids, with my friends. I could be going to the gym. I could be doing all kinds of different things. I like YouTube. I do. I like doing YouTube. But it doesn't value me back as much as I value it. And that's kind of where we are. So for now, I'm going to be stepping away from YouTube. So many of you may know that I retired from my career 10 years ago. I think it was 10 years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be 62 in a couple of weeks. And I have been retired for 10 years, and I have no idea at all what it's like to be retired, because these big projects, or things I turned into big projects, have come up, and I jump into them, and I become consumed by them because I need to feel productive. I need to feel engaged. I need to be learning something. I need to be keeping the brain going, adding value in some form or fashion. And YouTube has been another one of those where I thought, okay, this is a total learning curve. It's going to be crazy, because I had no earthly idea how to do YouTube, how to edit. I still don't really know how to edit, quite frankly. And it takes a lot of my time, and the editing part is awful. The filming and the interacting with you and the developing the recipes and the shopping and the researching and all that kind of stuff is great fun. The editing, not so much. But anyway, so back to my point is, I don't know how to be retired. And my friends, they just love it. And they go to the gym, and they meet for lunch, and they play cards, and they take vacations. They go do all kinds of fun things, and I'm going to figure out how to do that. So that is how I'm going to be spending my time, is trying to figure out how to be retired without taking on another massive project. And I do have a lot of other hobbies I enjoy other than growing and preserving food. So I am going to dedicate some time there. And, we'll see. As I said, I have all these videos that I want to make, and hopefully someday I'll be able to make them. But that's really, I feel, dependent on YouTube, and whether or not it becomes an environment in which I can succeed again. So, not the video I really wanted to end the year on, but it is what it is. And so I thank you all for being here. I hope that those of you who have communicated with me in email over the years continue to do that. I value your friendship, and I still need people to talk to about things that are fun for me, the growing and preserving of food. So if you want to continue to email me about those things, I would really appreciate that. That would be wonderful. But for now, I wish you all the very best. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. I love you all, and thank you for being here. And hopefully, I'll see you again someday. Bye-bye.